The World Matchplay is done for another year, and what a tournament that was. That was, honestly, I think that was the best tournament we've had in darts in quite a while. Like, it was just the overall quality and just the games that we watched. I mean, it had everything, this tournament, and honestly, I'm gutted it's finished, but, I think it's now time to look back at this tournament, give my overall thoughts and opinions, and let's have a little deep dive in, shall we? So before we do actually get into the tournament, I'm actually going to have a look at the predictions that I made going into this tournament. I was a bit too lazy making a video for this one, unfortunately, because I was just had stuff going on, so unfortunately I couldn't make a video on it, but I did make my actual full tournament predictions going into this, and they're not great, I'll be honest, especially I think in this top quarter particularly, I got it completely wrong. Yeah, I mean, the whole top half, I mean, actually, the quarter down here, I got this pretty much nearly spot on. But yeah, absolute nightmare. I mean, I had Luke Humphries to win the whole tournament. Didn't even get past round one. Had Menzies to win. Aspinall, they both knocked out first round as well. I mean, again, this quarter down here, this quarter from Button down to the Decker, I actually got almost absolutely spot on. Obviously, just Clayton did beat Bunting in the actual quarter final. And then bottom half, the draw was a little bit better, I suppose. I think other than Gilding and I think literally other than Gilding, I got every single one of these first round ties were correct. As well. So yeah, overall it wasn't terrible. I mean, although my two finalists didn't even get anywhere near in the end. Really, Humphries knocked out first round, Garen Price out quarterfinals. My actual finalists, Luke Littler, I think it's the semi-finals. I thought Garen Price would have beaten them. And James Wade, I get knocked out round 2 by Nathan Aspinall. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, overall, obviously not good. Because I didn't even get the final right. I didn't even get I literally only got one of the 4 semi-finalists correct. Oh dear. Anyway, it doesn't matter about that. This is my predictions. It just goes to show how, 1, I know absolutely nothing about darts, and 2, it's still unpredictable at times. Even though Luke Littler didn't end up winning the tournament, it's still unpredictable. So I'm not going to complain too much about that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at, in my opinion, what were the top 5 matches of the full tournament. Starting out in round 1, we did have Damon Heta against Andrew Gilding. I mean, this was a brilliant game, wasn't it, really? It really, really was. Both players averaging over a ton. Both really, really good on the checkouts, both over 50% as well. There was 18 180s from between them, 46 140s plus, Both players were on the A game in this one, and it did go into overtime. Unfortunately for Damon Heta, he didn't come out well. That one, Andrew Gilding, I think, like me, I think a lot of people thought Heta would beat him in this opening game, because Heta wasn't good form going into this tournament, but Andrew Gilding, once again, Goldfinger, doing what he does best, getting stiff in hotel rooms, apparently. His words, not mine. Doing the job, and also overall, Andrew Gilding, I'm talking about him more later on, but yeah, he had a wonderful tournament, and then I think he started as he meant to go on in this opening game. Really, really good. Then going into round 2, I do have Michael Van Gerwen against Josh Rock. I mean, how MVG did not win this game, I still don't know, because he was in control. He was always leading. It was only right until the very end when Josh Rock managed to pull off a brilliant comeback, and actually going into overtime actually was leading. But Van Gerwen again with a brilliant 138 checkout to take things into extra time. Yeah, brilliant game between two brilliant Aerosmiths. Yeah, it had everything again. I suppose obviously Van Gerwen's checkouts just let him down. It's almost seems to be an issue with Van Gerwen at the moment. He just can't seem to take his chances that often. But yeah, brilliant game. And to be fair, I think this was the game where Josh Rock had his first bit of issues in tournament, because obviously it was a pretty straightforward game against Ross Smith in the first round, thankfully, because Ross Smith was not starting well at all. I think this was the first game where we were like, you know what, Josh Rock might actually do something special at this tournament. And yeah, brilliant game. Had everything you could have won in the game, really. So brilliant stuff. And then another second round tie, which actually happened literally the game before the MVG Rock one, was Littler against Watamina. I mean, again, Watamina. Honestly, I feel so bad for him. He must have been gutted after this game, 7-2 up in a race to 11 against Luke Littler, where he had him where he wanted. I mean, literally, I don't think I've ever seen Watamina so locked in while he was front of door. Like, literally, obviously, we all know Watamina can, he has tendencies, to lose his head a little bit times on stage. He was just in the zone. Littler just couldn't do anything about it, and then Out of nowhere, Luke Littler just pulled off, in my opinion, what was the best comeback of the tournament. Obviously, would have been bettered by another game, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, again, just a brilliant game. She had it on the edge of your seats, and yeah, Luke Littler, fair play to him. Obviously, I know he's world champion. He's won nearly everything already. But even still, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one who thought he was down and out in this game. But yeah, just again, there's a brilliant night of darts. Littler, absolutely outstanding comeback. It really, really was. And then, of course, how could I not mention the two semi-finals? I start off with Luke Littler against Josh Rock. I mean, if you ever want a darts match that literally has everything, it's this one right here. And we all knew that this was going to be a brilliant game of darts. But holy shit, it was unreal, absolutely unreal. 29 180s were thrown, which I believe is the record in the match. 29 180s. It's just crazy. 80. 140 plus is thrown as well. Neither played really that great on the outer ring, but it doesn't really matter. Had a 9 darter as well. Technically the perfect leg of darts from both players. Obviously, we all talk about Michael Smith against Van Gerwen as being the best leg of darts ever. Technically, this was better because literally every single dart thrown it was perfect. Obviously, you can make the case, Josh Rock only had 2 visits. And that one as well, but obviously again, I think Josh Rock, I believe now he set the record for highest ever leg average because he literally had 6 perfect darts, and that was it. Like he had 6 perfect darts. Obviously, Littler took out the finish before Rock could even get there. So yeah, Josh Rock now has the highest ever average for a leg. Obviously he also hit the big fish as well. It's just unbelievable game. Again, another game where Luke Littler was down and out. Essentially, he was 6-1 down against Josh Rock. Again, a brilliant comeback, and yeah, unbelievable. I mean, it was just absolutely fantastic standard from these two. It really, really was. But of course, I had to mention the other semi-final between James Wade and Johnny Clayton. I mean, in my opinion, like this one was better than the Littler Rock game. Just even though I actually just mentioned that Littler Rock had everything he could want in this game of darts. For me, this one was the one. I mean, James Wade was in control the whole game. Johnny Clayton was not taking his chances at all. Wade was in control, and then he had one leg left to get. 10, 16, 10 up. Johnny Clayton rattles off 6 legs on the bounce to take it into overtime. Yeah, it literally took something special from James Wade to get over the line in the end. 1-6, 1 check outs, 2 that he got in this game. Clayton got 1 as well. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think if Clayton had won this game somehow, it would have been the greatest comeback ever seen in darts. I know, again, obviously Johnny Clayton as well in the Masters against Luke Humphries. In the finals, down out, he nearly won it. Last night decider, he nearly did the same thing against James Wade, but again, just fell short. And it's a shame, both players brilliant, they played absolutely brilliantly in this one. But yeah, James Wade obviously did come on top in the end, so yeah, brilliant game. It really, really was. And then I do have 2 honourable mentions. First one being Stephen Bunting against Gary Anderson in round 2. Obviously, again, it wasn't, obviously, I think at times both players were lacking a little bit of quality, but again, I think we all love the drama in the darts, and this one definitely did deliver. Again, a game where Anderson was in control, Bunting was having an absolute nightmare, but as it turned out to be in the first two rounds, Stephen Bunting had his time and turned down to a T, and in the end, obviously took this one away from Gary Anderson in overtime, so yeah, again, a brilliant game there. And of course, I just couldn't mention a review without talking about Gerwyn Price against Darryl Gurney in round 1. I mean, I knew this game would be box office. I knew before it, if dart even been thrown, these two were going to have an absolute thriller. And it always is with these two, there's always a bit of handbags on the stage, and definitely did not disappoint at all. Bit of scrappy on the stage, apparently off it as well. I don't know how true that is, but yeah. I just couldn't make this video without mentioning it at all. It was just, yeah, pretty, really good. And then we're now going to have a look at some of the player performances, looking at some of the best players and unfortunately some of the worst players. I'll start off with the best players. I've got 7 players in this list because it was so tough to just narrow it down to 7, but I think I've gone with 7. So going with Luke Littler, of course, the winner. I mean, to be fair, is it just me who sort of sees the parallels with this tournament and the Grand Slam last year, where Littler had literally everything thrown at him this whole tournament? Just so many occasions before he was going to be out of it, and then just managed to pull himself out of the ground. Obviously, the Decker had a match start against him in the Grand Slam last 16. Gary Anderson should have beaten him really in semi-finals, didn't. And obviously this year, match play, Watamina probably should have got the job done, 7-2 up. Andrew Gilding pushed him all the way. And then again, obviously, another brilliant comeback against Josh Rock. And then again in the final, James Wade was 5-0 up. Luke Littler came back. I mean, literally had everything thrown at him. And he still came out as the winner. Obviously, he literally is unbeatable. It's crazy. And then, of course, James Wade, the runner-up. Heading into the final, he was my player of the tournament. Because I thought he was just... Like, he just didn't make a mistake, really, did he? I mean, I think the only thing you can probably point out was the start of his game against Jan Van Veen, where he just couldn't hit a double to save his life. I believe he missed his first 11 darts at a double in that quarter-final, but he still came through, comfortably won that game. And then, obviously, towards the end against Johnny Clayton, where he was 16-10 up. Obviously, Clayton then put back the 16th all, and then just, again, went through to overtime, but... I think again, other than those 2 points, James Wade had a pretty flawless tournament, really. Don't think you could say anything wrong about it. He didn't put a foot wrong. He should be very proud of himself. He did very, very well. Of course, obviously Johnny Clayton, one of a few players, obviously defending a lot of prize money this year, did lose half of it. Obviously, he was defending 100 grand. He only gained 50 back. So he has dropped a few places in the Order Merit, but not too bad. He is still in the top 10. So. And yeah, overall, again, Clayton obviously blitzed Schindler in the opening game. Last thing is the decade wasn't pretty at times, but he got the job done. Same with against Stephen Bunt in quarterfinals again, just got the job done. That one, no fuss at all. And then Nelly pulled off a great comeback against James Wade in the semi-finals, which just wasn't meant to be. And then Josh Rock, a lot of people's choices to actually win this tournament outside of the 2 Lukes, and again, did not disappoint at all. Destroyed Ross Smith round 1, had a tough game against Van Gogh in round 2, but still came out on top. Quarterfinal, a brilliant battle of Goh and Price, but managed to pull away in the end in that one. And then again, unfortunately, just couldn't get the job done against Luke Littler in that semi-final. But again, had a brilliant tournament. Jan Van Veen, second year at the match play. Brilliant opening game against Luke Humphries. I think a lot of people saw that as a game where it probably was the best chance to beat Luke Humphries, because I don't think anyone else would have stopped them either way. But then Van Veen played brilliantly, destroyed Danny Noppert round 2, and then unfortunately just was outplayed by James Wade in the quarterfinals, unfortunately for him. But then again, another tournament where he can be very proud of, and he's trying to make his way up in the world of darts, Van Veen. I'm very curious to see how he gets on the rest of this year. Goh and Price, as I saw before, I had him to be in my final. And again, absolutely brilliant. Obviously, round 1 against Darryl Gurney. Didn't have to do anything too special to win that one. Obviously, I think both players were just, obviously, I think apart from the whole thing afterwards, it was a very professional game, if that makes any sense. Obviously, both players, obviously, they were giving it a little bit, again, actually throwing a dart, the actual match itself. I thought both players were just, going at it. Again, obviously, destroyed Chris Dobie in that returning game, which for me, I actually put down for me as the best actual individual performance at this tournament was Goh and Price's game against Chris Dobie, destroying an 11-3. I mean, obviously, I'm a Sunderland fan. Dobie's Newcastle fan, obviously, I'm not being biased at all, but yeah, obviously, Dobie, he just didn't have a fucking chance. Price absolutely obliterated him. Obviously, Price would have beaten anybody. So he just wasn't missing. Obviously, was tinkering on getting the record average at the match play. Didn't happen in that game, unfortunately, but again, just obviously brilliant. And then unfortunately, this came unstuck against Josh Rock. It was even for so long, but towards the end, Josh Rock just pulled away. And then, but overall, again, another good game from Goh and Price. He's starting to recoup with his old spark, I think. And finally, you've got Andrew Gilding. Obviously, I mentioned before, obviously, brilliant first round game against Damon Hedder, which went into overtime. Obviously, Gilding got the job done. Second round game against Dirk van Duivenbode, again, just completely destroyed him. And obviously, I know it was 11-5 on the score, but Gilding was just so in control of that game. He didn't look like missing anything. He was so clinical in that game, and unfortunately, just about missed out on semi-finals thanks to Luke Littler. I mean, it was a brilliant game. Although Gilding wasn't there, I don't think Gilding actually led the game at any point. He kept up with Littler for a lot of that game, and he was very unlucky. But again, Andrew Gilding, very, very good turn from him, and he's now starting to make his way back up the rankings as well, so can't compare there. But unfortunately, with all the best players, there are some players who didn't quite do so well at this tournament. But I've actually only got 2 players in this list, because although there were a lot of seeded players who were casualties in round 1, I wouldn't go as far as saying they actually played very badly. For me, the only 2 players who I just thought were actually pretty disappointing. Obviously, first one being Cameron Menzies. I mean, just the most disastrous debut at a tournament I think I've ever seen. To be honest, it just did not go his way at all against Danny Noppert. Yeah, I mean, I literally busting one against fucking busting 178. I think he had 178. He busted it. Like, it was just did not go his way at all. And although Menzies is just outside the top 32, it's just whether or not he can get his TV form up going. Obviously, other than the quarterfinal win at the Grand Slam last year, he's usually a first round casualty in these tournaments, and just did not play well at all against Danny Noppert. And then Raymond van Barneveld is the other one I've gone with. I mean, is it just me who finds watching Barney just so depressing these days? Because you can even tell that he just doesn't care anymore. It's such a shame, because Barney, being one of the best players that ever played darts, now he's world 30, number 36. He's barely putting in good averages. I mean, he actually got the 3rd lowest average at this tournament. Like, it's just depressing to watch Barney. Like, even going into the tournament, he said that he wasn't feeling quite good for he had a feeling that Michael van Gerwen would beat him in the opening round. I mean, it's just a shame. It really is, and it just makes you think how much longer that Barney is going to actually be playing at this level. You know, is he going to pack it in sooner rather than later? Is he going to go over the Modus or the seniors? I don't know. It's not looking great for Barney, I'll be honest. And now we're going on to the top 3 moments of this tournament. First off, we are going to go, of course, with the Daryl Gurney Gerwyn Price scrap. I mean, just it was so good. I mean, this is why people loved darts originally when it first came out in the 80s, and when it really started at its first, but it says boom on the TV stage. I mean, just players having some fucking personalities. And I know the game's changed in the last 4 years since then, but yeah, come on, man. Like, it doesn't help, for something about darts players, have a bit of a handbags, Like, I don't know about you, but obviously in the World Championship, when Luke Littler played Nathan Aspinall and played Stephen Bunting, it was all fist bumps and hand fucking high fives at literally every single fucking thing. Like, no one wants to fucking see that. We want to be entertained. We want to see the 2 players really going at it, and that's what that brought for me. It really, really was entertaining to watch. It really, really was. Then obviously mentioned as well, obviously Johnny Clayton nearly making the comeback against James Wade in the semi-final. Like I said, it would have been one of the greatest comebacks in darts history, in my opinion, had he pulled it off. It would have been outstanding, but obviously, fortunately for him, James Wade managed to just get the job done in overtime. And then number 1, of course, it had to be the Luke Littler 9 darter against Josh Rock. I mean, literally, in my opinion, bang me desk. In my opinion, this was the best leg of all time. I know the Michael Smith Van Gerwen obviously had with both players through, but technically this was the best leg of darts you can ever get, because no one missed. It was 15 perfect darts from both players. Yeah, in my opinion, this obviously I know Wayne Mardle said it was the second best leg ever. Obviously going back to his commentary from the Smith game, but in my opinion, this was better than that leg, because neither player missed. Obviously Luke Littler, obviously it was 6-1 down at the time, but I just have nowhere 9 darter, and then of course Josh Rock was also on a 9, as the famous line goes. They're both on 9s. But yeah, Josh Rock again, obviously also now setting the highest ever average in the leg, which probably might never get beaten ever. Because again, I think just the unlikely situation of both players being on a 9 darter, both players obviously being on the checkout, and then the person throwing first actually just take out the 9 dart in that thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's Josh Rock's probably got that leg average for life. It's probably never going to get beaten again, which, it's fine. But, yeah. Outstanding really was. And now we're going to be looking at the brand new Order of Merit following the conclusion of the match play. A lot of changes in this Order of Merit, as we all predicted there would be at the start of the tournament. Top 4, as you were. Obviously, Luke Littler now only 300k behind Luke Humphries now. And of course, obviously Luke Humphries just have his prize money to defend at the end of the year. Actually lost 40 grand, Humphries from the match play. So there's that. But yeah, again, Van Gerwen and Bunting also not getting too far in the tournament as well. James Wade, the new world number 5, literally just 10 grand behind Stephen Bunting. Now Bunting's placed in the top 4. Now at risk. Again, obviously Wade making a final of a Pro Tour is probably going to get up in the top 4. Then behind him, Gerwyn Price now back in the top 10, up to number 6 again. For $500,000. A little bit behind Wade there, but and obviously Chris Dobey down 1 because of the ranking there. He's looking pretty good. Obviously Johnny Clayton obviously did lose 50 grand from his prize money, but again he's still world number 8. He's still in a very good position. Really, that's good stuff from him. Rob Cross somehow is still in the top 10. Don't know how he just still is there, despite having a pretty poor year. Other than the World Series stuff, then Damon Hatter still where he is as well. Josh Rock now well in the top 16 and knocking the door off the top 10. Very likely he probably is going to be there for the World Championship. So fair play to you, Rocky. Anderson now up to number 12. Chizzy, Ross Smith all in the same place. Peter Wright somehow still in the fucking top 16. I don't know how he's still there, but he is. And he's got a nice little gap over Schindler as well. Van Veen now up to world number 18. He had a very good tournament. Decker now firmly in the top 20. And then as we come down to outside the top 20, Michael Smith, still 21. Van den Berg, despite not actually being at match play, up to number 22. But then the main talking point of this match play or the merit is Nathan Aspinall. £200,000 he was defending at this year's tournament. He's lost pretty much all of it. Like Aspinall losing 190 grand. There, which means now he's gone for world number 8, world number 23. Oh dear, Nathan, it's a good thing you've won on the Euro Tour this year, mate, because otherwise you'd have been absolutely fucked. Literally, just not a good match play at all. Ryan Joyce now as well. Obviously, he got knocked out first round. He's up to 24. Gilding as well, making his way back up the ranking as well. Joe Cullen, again, he also lost 40 grand from the match play. He's now down to number 29. I believe let's have a look at the Grand Prix race. So yeah, Joe Cullen currently outside of the Grand Prix place at the minute, which could be vital because I believe he does have prize money to defend from that one as well. You have Joe Cullen again, 40 grand to defend at the Grand Prix this year. Again, could be set to lose all of it should he not do well. Again, up to European Championship. Again, not in the provisional spots there. He isn't too far behind. But obviously, Michael Smith currently number 32. He's just not doing well there. Although plays championship finals, I believe he's number 70 because obviously he won the Pro Tour, so he should be good to go to Minehead. However, one thing I will mention about the people as well. Currently number 65, Nathan Aspinall, obviously just narrowly managed to get into Minehead last year. Was number 64. As well, he needs to. He's currently level with Ryan Joyce. Obviously, Nathan Aspinall needs to start attending these Pro Tours again because now he hasn't got the luxury of being in the top 16 anymore. You now have to actually start attending these Pro Tours, and he's going to make his way back in there. Obviously, look at Luke Litton, 52, and he's 49. Crazy stuff. So basically, what I was trying to say, Joe Cullen, more than likely probably will be outside the top 32 come the World Championship. Although to be fair, he probably will be seeded because obviously now with the more players coming in, is now the top 40 who are going to be seeded at the World Championship from now on. So Cullen, he probably still will be seeded, but he could be in danger. Obviously, loses prize money from there. I believe he's got Grand Slam money as well. No, my mistake. He didn't qualify for the Grand Slam a couple of years ago. But for 40k coming off of it, stands for Joe Cullen, 272. We'll put him outside the top 32 because you probably think that Menzies probably would pick up some money somewhere, So yeah, not good if you're a Joe Cullen person. As well, Menzies, he's knocking on the door top 32. Again, this tournament could have been a chance for him to really make a move, but again, it went horribly wrong. Russell Nyman now comfortably in the top 40. He was level with Dudes and Rids before. He's now comfortably well ahead of them two now. And again, no prize money at all for Barcelona as well, so he could make some serious moves towards the top 32 this year. So I think it's looking good for the Dutchman there. So guys, that's going to be it for my match play review. Hope you guys will enjoy it. Do let me know what your personal favourite moments were of the tournament. Who do you think was the best player? Who do you guys think will do well for the rest of the year? Do let me know down below in the comments. Anyway, but that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all next time.